What's up, guys? Fan 101 here, and this is my NXT Takeover Chicago review. I recorded and uploaded my review of Money in the Bank as of a few minutes ago. Go check that out. As for NXT Takeover Chicago, well, I'm doing it right now, and this show was pretty freaking awesome, I gotta say. Not a bad match on the show, and for what's technically a B show, because, although I guess in this sense there are no B takeover shows. Like how there's like a B show like Extreme Rules or Money in the Bank, compared to the A shows, which are like SummerSlam and, you know, Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and even Survivor Series. But this was a really great show. NXT Takeover Chicago. This show, I'm sorry I didn't get to it sooner, but this show took place before Backlash, which was like over a month and a half ago. So I apologize. And let's just say that Backlash did not beat this show. If you watched my review, oh man, did it not beat the show. This show was awesome. Eric Young and Roderick Strong opened up the show. Basically, and out came Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf with Eric Young. You know, out came, and now I know what I was trying to say. I just lost my train of thought there for a second. The reason why Nikki Cross wasn't going to be out there is because she was preparing for the triple threat women's NXT women's title match with Asuka and Ruby Riot. I'll get to that in a minute. And she couldn't be there with them. So it was just the three of them. Eric Young came out first with the rest of Sanity. Roderick Strong came. Roderick Strong's music hit. And what happened was he came out through the crowd, beat the shit out of both Wolf and Dane, and to try to eliminate them from the equation. What came was a hard-hitting Smash Mouth style match. Roderick Strong and Eric Young, they definitely did some moves in there. It was a pretty good match. It wasn't like an amazing match, but for the time it got, which is about 12.5 minutes, it could have been a little bit better. But it was still a pretty good match. Great, now I think I have the hiccups now, so bear with me here. So, yeah, Roddy, the whole story here, not the story leading up to it, but the story in the match was that it was him against all odds. Roderick Strong was basically being teamed up on by Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf when the ref was not looking, or when Eric Young had the ref distracted. And it was basically Roddy. It was one of those things like Roddy against the world kind of thing, which he used that phrase in the past. And remember, keep in mind, this was not long after those Roderick Strong promo packages came out, when he explained what happened to his family and you know his parents and his girlfriend and his recent kid. And then the crowds really got into Roderick Strong. And the crowd was hot here for Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong won the match after, against all odds, he got Wolf and Dane out of the way and hit Eric Young with a sick kick, 1, 2, 3. Roderick Strong is your winner. This was a great match, I gotta say. This match was great. I had a lot of fun watching it, and it was just a blast to watch. It really was. It really was kind of a blast to watch and to just to pay attention to. The next match was the best match of the night, so it even kicked up a new gear. Next match was Tyler Bate defending the WWE UK Championship against Pete Dunne. Now, these two guys did have one of the best matches of the year at the end of the UK tournament, when they both competed to see who would win the UK Championship. It was the first ever UK Championship title match in WWE, and Tyler Bate won. And Tyler Bate was 19 years old at the time. By this point, he's 20. He's my age. I am actually a few months older than Tyler Bate. And yet, look at him now. This guy's going to go far. And he's already having matches this great. Yeah. This guy has freaking superstar in the ring. Superstar level potential. Anyway, this match was awesome. A lot of great in-ring technical stuff. But also a little bit of high-flying there. Tyler Bate can go high-flying when need be. Pete Dunne, he did the Exploder suplex. Not the Exploder, but the X-plex. That's what he called it. He did an X-plex onto the ring apron, which has to suck because the ring apron, as WWE and pretty much everyone constantly tells you, is the hardest part of the ring. But he did an X-plex to Tyler Bate effortlessly on the ring apron. So that has to hurt. That had to hurt a little bit. I just love Pete Dunne. I love Tyler Bate, but Pete Dunne is absolutely amazing. If there's WCPW, which I will be getting back into reviewing as soon as I catch up on all my shit. And now that I have a weekend off with nobody home and it's just me, I'll have the opportunity to do that, finally. And, the thing is, that the one thing I have to criticize WCPW for is its treatment of Pete Dunne. Not that he was treated like a jobber or anything, but now that I'm seeing him in this role as a singles guy, they weren't using him right as... he was a tag team guy in WCPW. I don't watch Progress, so I don't really know too much about him. It wasn't really until I watched the UK tournament that I'm like, damn, this guy's awesome. Why didn't WCPW use him like this before? Not that he wasn't part of any great matches in WCPW, he was. But usually in those matches, in What Culture Pro Wrestling, he usually was the one getting pinned. And now I'm like, this guy should never be pinned. This guy should win like every match. Up until, some, good babyface gets their win. And like I said earlier, WCPW did have a certain way of bringing out some of the best in guys. I guess because of how free reign it is. Like Joseph Connors. I've seen Joseph Connors in the UK tournament. And I saw him on that UK championship special. And not that he isn't bad, but it's like he seemed to be a lot better in WCPW. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm finally seeing the weaknesses of Joseph Connors. And maybe they just protected him that well in WCPW. Remember, Paul Heyman was great at doing that back in the day. Protecting pretty much everyone who had weaknesses, even shit wrestlers, like the Sandman, as popular as he was. Now I've gone off on a tangent. Back to Pete Dunne. But my point is that Pete Dunne really... he made a name for himself in England, in the UK, But, it wasn't until he got to WWE where he really got a chance to shine. Hopefully and I hope this guy at one point breaks out of the UK division and just, hell, Pete Dunne for WWE champion, please. Speaking of champion, Pete Dunne won the WWE UK championship. The last few spots of the match were basically Tyler Bate, at one point threw Dunne out of the ring. He did a dive. Then he busted out AJ Styles' old move, the spiral tap. They probably called it something else here. It's basically a corkscrew senton. But he busted out. But for all of us old-time AJ Styles fans, we know it as his old move, the spiral tap. A move that not a lot of people are good at doing. Apparently, Tyler Bate's one of them. He did the move. He got a really, really close near fall. But Pete Dunne. I believe what happened was Pete Dunne was outside the ring again. Tyler Bate went for another dive. Dunne moved him out of the way. And Tyler Bate crashed onto the floor. And when they got back in the ring, Pete Dunne hit Tyler Bate with the... I honestly forget the name of the move. This is going to kill me here. Hang on. I apologize, but I cannot believe I forgot the name of the move. It was not the X-Plex, although that is a pretty sweet looking maneuver. The move that he uses, like, man, Pete Dunne is only 3 years older than I am. That is nuts. That is nuts! Like my peanuts. Man, that is not right. The bitter end. That's what it was. It was the bitter end. And 1, 2, 3, he won the championship. Pete Dunne, I think all of us, I had my worry because I'm like, well, maybe they want to really put it on the white meat babyface, but Pete Dunne really deserved the championship. Pete Dunne is your new champion. One of the best matches of the year, I gotta say. One of the best matches of the year. Not as, in terms of WWE, not as good as, say, maybe not as good, maybe like on par with the triple threat tag team title match at Takeover Orlando. It's not, in my opinion, it's not as good as AJ Styles and John Cena at the Royal Rumble, although it's probably pretty damn close. So I guess I gotta like rewatch the match again or something like that just to make sure like I got my rating right, because that's how kick-ass the match was. Like, what level of awesome was this match? Asuka defending the NXT Women's Championship in what was supposed to be a fatal 4-way match with Nikki Cross, Ruby Riot, and Ember Moon. Now, if you remember, what happened was a few weeks before the show, there was a battle royal to determine the #1 contender. Asuka came out in a very heel-style fashion, and Ruby Riot, Nikki Cross, and Ember Moon were the only ones in the ring. And what happened was Asuka came down, like I said, in heel fashion, beat the crap out of everyone, and then threw them all out of the ring. And what she did was she threw Ember Moon out of the ring, and Ember Moon landed awkwardly against the steel railing onto the floor. And the way she landed really busted up her arm. She didn't just break it like several pieces, and she's gonna be gone for like months and months. She was only gone for like a month and a half. Now she's back. She just had a match with not Billy Kay, Peyton Royce on NXT this past week, or maybe the week before that. I don't know. Anyways, but point being, she's back. But what happened was she got hurt and she could not make the show, so it got turned into a triple threat match between Asuka, Nikki Cross, and Ruby Riot. And this match reminded me of that Fatal 4 match. Yeah, the Fatal 4 match they had at NXT Takeover San Antonio, and where it was basically a proving ground for Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, and Billy Kay. And it was made painfully obvious to everyone that Billy Kay and Peyton Royce were nowhere near ready. They were probably a few years behind of being ready for Asuka. Maybe 2 years. But they were nowhere near ready for that spot. Now, and it was a similar kind of match, except take out Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, put in Ruby Riot, and you actually had recipe for a pretty good match. And that's what we got. We got a really good triple threat women's title match. Asuka, was really good here. Nikki Cross was really good here, and probably more than anyone because the fact that Nikki Cross did get another match with a couple more matches with Asuka. Ruby Riot, this was mainly a proving ground for Ruby Riot. I kind of figured Nikki Cross was pretty good, but Ruby Riot, it was kind of like how good is she? And this match proved that she's pretty friggin' good. She did a couple of top rope sentons, like a Bully Ray style top rope senton. She's really flexible. I think she did a Hurricane Rana somewhere in there. Anyways, it was a good back and forth triple threat match. It was definitely a really good triple threat match. Now the finish did get a little bit messed up. What happened was Ruby Riot hit a move on Nikki Cross, went for the pin. However, Asuka did not enter the ring in time. So the referee kind of had to hold up his count, and Ruby Riot had to like get off of Nikki Cross. Because what was going to happen was Asuka was going to knee Ruby Riot in the head in the middle of the count, and then pin both of them for the to retain the championship. And but she was too. But either Ruby Riot was out of position or Asuka was simply too late. So what happened was Ruby Riot had to like get up, like off the pin, because she was like pinning like with her back on Nikki Cross. So she had to like get up and kind of like wait, like see almost like what's happening, and then Asuka hit her with a knee right in the head and pinned both of them. I think the referee also had to hold up his count too. So a little bit of a messed up finish, but it wasn't like a shitty finish like Money in the Bank's finishes were. This was just more of a mistake, and even though you could say it brought it down, you could kind of forgive it for that, because in the end we got a really, really good match and a proving ground for both Nikki Cross and the Ruby Riot. So, and we know that at least it's not just Asuka there. We got Nikki Cross, who's pretty good. We got Ruby Riot, who's pretty good. And we have Ember Moon, who's most likely going to be winning the title at Takeover Brooklyn this year. And with the women's tournament that we're getting pretty soon, with Kairi Hojo, and I think Io Shirai is hurt. But we know Kairi Hojo is going to be in the tournament. She's going to be a good addition to NXT. So there's going to be another one, and probably more now that we're going to see their talents and see how good they are. Next match was Bobby Roode defending the NXT Championship against Hideo Itami. You know, my boy Kenta. I love Kenta. He's awesome. But Hideo Itami, don't get me wrong, I like Hideo Itami. It's just, this guy, this guy's had a string of bad luck. He was gone for a year and a half due to complications of surgery. He was only going to be gone for like 6 months or so. But then, due to complications, he had to be gone for like another year. Or maybe he was already going to be gone for a year. He had another 6 months. Anyway, this poor guy was gone for a long time. And almost like about a year and a half. He came back. He was going to be paired in a feud with Austin Aries. He got hurt again, and then he came back earlier this year. And then in the most recent set of tapings, he got hurt. Although this time it was really more of like a nose injury. And if you look at what happened to John Cena when Seth Rollins busted up his nose, and Hideo Itami was able to come out for the match later that night against Oney Lorcan. So I don't think the injury's really that bad. I think it's really just more he just needs a quick fix. Maybe he'll be gone for a couple weeks, or he can do something on the air. He can be a non-wrestling role for a couple weeks, cut promos or do some things, and then when he's 100%, he can go back in the ring. So thankfully, he's good there. But this was his one and only NXT Championship match, and that Beast in the East special that happened 2 years ago. That was the spot that Finn Balor got. It was going to go to a Hideo Itami. But it just didn't happen that way because Itami got hurt. So, this was his first and possibly only NXT Championship match. And while I did expect a better match, I honestly thought it would be a better match. We still got a really good match out of this. I was originally going to give it 4 stars, but then I look back and it was more like a high 3 and 3/4 star match to me. Still, there was really good selling here from both guys. Bobby Roode was selling his left arm. He was selling the arm. Hideo Itami later on was selling the leg. And remember, the arm and the leg, that's the impetus for their finishers. The Glorious DDT and the GTS. So with that said, this match was really good. Basically, it was a nice back and forth match. It was definitely more of a Kenta style match than we've seen in a while. I guess from what I've heard, from what I remember, the most Kenta style match was his match with Finn Balor back in NXT, or maybe it was Adrian Neville, or Neville, whatever. And but it's when Hideo Itami is more like the Kenta of old that he does really, really good. Roode was really good here too. And I actually thought that Hideo Itami there would be like some kind of screwy finish or something would happen and Tommy would get a rematch at Brooklyn where he would finally win the big one. But it looks like there's an impetus eventually for the eventual Hideo Itami heel turn. Which is cool because it means that we might get more of a kick-ass Hideo Itami, much like we got more of a kick-ass Samoa Joe when he turned heel. So maybe that's a good thing. But let's see how this goes. Bobby Roode won, by the way, first he had a glorious DDT. And by the way, I'm cooking a pizza, so I may have to make this a little bit quick. He had a glorious DDT. Then Itami kicked out. Itami hit the GTS, but Roode got knocked out of the ring, much like the CM Punk John Cena match at Money in the Bank in 2011. He got him back in the ring. He pinned Roode only to get a near fall. By this point, he was already selling a leg. He put down his knee pad, went for a GTS without the knee pad, but Roode caught it. He got a glorious DDT, and then rolled over, stood back up, hit Itami with a third glorious DDT, and then pinned him. So the one thing I will say is that Itami did not look weak in this match. He came out pretty strong in this match, because it took 3 glorious DDTs to put him down. So I gotta give WWE credit for that. I gotta go over this next one quickly, because I don't want my pizza to burn. Basically, the Authors of Pain defending the NXT Tag Team Championship against DIY in a ladder match. The first ever Tag Team Championship ladder match in NXT. The second ladder match period in NXT behind Bo Dallas and Neville. This match was awesome. And second best match of the night behind Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. And God, what's his name? Tommaso Ciampa actually went to this match hurt. I forget exactly which leg it was, and what kind of leg injury it was. But he came in with a somewhat damaged leg. But you know, he toughed it out. And watching this match, you would never know the guy got hurt at all. There was a spot, some ways in the match, where both Akam and Razor were on ladders, and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were on a ladder in the middle of the floor. And remember, Akam and Razor are set up on ladders outside. And what they were going to do, they both did splashes from the ladder onto them. But what happened is both of them overshot. And that's actually a spot where Tommaso Ciampa got hurt. And he ended up hurting his leg so much, or his foot so much, the fact that he's going to be gone for like 6 to 9 months. He's going to be gone for a while. And Johnny Gargano, he also overshot, but he didn't get hurt. He did not break through the ladder, though. Ciampa, the one that got hurt, broke through the ladder. The irony of that. But this was a really, really awesome match. I think Paul Ellering at one point got involved. He got knocked down by one of the two members. There was a point in the match where Tommaso Ciampa was gonna get destroyed by a ladder by Akam and Razor, but then Johnny Gargano pushed Ciampa down, and he took the shot for him, which would lead to the impetus for Ciampa to do a back suplex to one of, I forget which member it was, to one of them through a ladder. And then Johnny Gargano came back. They had a ladder set up on one of the members. I believe it was Razor. They had his head through the ladder. They hit their knee super kick finish. They were about to climb the ladder to grab the titles. Then Akam and Rezar came in, hit that double style power bomb, that double power bomb, you know, where they hit it against their opponents and then on the floor. And I forget what it was called. Hang on. It's called a Super Collider. That's what it was. I don't remember them hitting the last chapter in this match. Maybe they did. The Super Collider, though. They had the Super Collider, went up, and got the titles. And definitely did sadden the crowd a little bit. Like, the crowd was a little bit sad. But that's what they wanted. They wanted the crowd to be sad. And they shot the ending of the show so perfectly. You were thinking, okay, these guys are so good, they're not going to break them up. Because there was teasing early on that Ciampa might turn on Gargano, but it never happened. They filmed it so well that Ciampa and Gargano were just leaving, and you're thinking like, okay, now these guys are going to the main roster as soon as they get healed, they're going to go to the main roster. You know, they had like the little like the black box like that you usually see at the end of every show, and at the bottom left side of your screen, and they really had you there. And then all of a sudden, Ciampa ran Gargano onto the stage. He did the knee finish over and over again to Gargano. At times was just sitting next to him, almost contemplating like what he's doing. And then the last thing he did, he stood on the NXT announce table. There were some tables down below. He stood on the NXT announce table, hit via white noise or Celtic, not Celtic Cross, but the Celtic Cloverleaf and Finley's old finisher. But Sheamus's white noise onto the tables with Ciampa standing prone on the standing on the announce table over Gargano's lifeless body, and that's how we left the show. So yeah, as soon as he gets back and he's not hurt anymore, we will get Gargano and Ciampa probably as a main event for one of the shows. If not like one of the main events, it should be the main event at one point. So, with that said, guys, be well, stay safe, have a good day. This was a freaking fantastic show. Go check it out. Every single match was really good. And I'll see you next time, guys, with my TNA One Night Only live pay-per-view that was released January of this year. So, till next time, guys, later, peace.